Hey everyone, before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my real life stories. Now, let's get into it. The monitor beeped faster, each sound crashing over me like relentless waves against a seawall. Contractions tore through me, unforgiving and merciless. I clutched the bed rail until my knuckles burned white, sweat sliding down my temples. My breath came in ragged, desperate gasps. Tyler hovered near the doorway, phone pressed to his ear. His mother's voice cut through the speaker, sharp, dismissive, dripping with impatience. She's overreacting. First-time mothers always exaggerate. Tyler, my voice barely escaped between gasps. I need you here now. He raised a single finger, as though I were an inconvenience. Mom says the epidural will calm you down. The monitor spiked wildly. A nurse dashed in, scanning the readouts with sharp, practiced eyes. She adjusted something and murmured reassurances I couldn't register. Tyler didn't budge, still glued to the phone, still prioritizing her voice over my pain. Dr. Chin entered, calm and focused. Her eyes flicked from the monitor to Tyler, then to me. Her expression hardened. Sir, I'm going to need you to step outside. Tyler's mouth opened. My mother tried to intervene. The door closed behind him, leaving me alone among strangers. The one person who had promised to stay had walked out because his mother told him to. In the blur of pain and betrayal, one thought crystallized perfectly. This wasn't the first time he'd chosen her, but it would be the last. My name is Megan. I'm 34, and I work as a pediatric occupational therapist, guiding children through a world that often refuses to make space for them. The irony isn't lost on me. I spent 5 years trying to navigate a marriage that never made space for me either. I grew up in a close-knit family. We didn't have much money, but we had dinners together, arguments that always ended in hugs, and parents who showed up. I thought I knew what family was. I thought I'd recognize it again when I found it. I met Tyler in grad school. Attentive, thoughtful. He remembered your coffee order, asked about your day, and actually cared about the answer. When he proposed, I said yes immediately, believing I was gaining a second family. His mother, Patricia, was there for everything. The engagement party, dress shopping, even weighing in on our honeymoon plans. I told myself it was endearing, proof she cared. Tyler was her only son, after all. Of course, she wanted to be close. I didn't notice the patterns at first. The way she inserted herself into every detail. How Tyler's eyes constantly searched hers for approval. How I was slowly, deliberately being erased. Everyone told me I was lucky to marry into wealth. The beautiful home, financial security, the picture-perfect life. But no one saw me disappear within it, little by little, year after year, until almost nothing remained. The first year of marriage was an education I hadn't asked for. One night, Patricia came for dinner. I'd made steak, proud of myself, eager to impress. She took a single bite, set down her fork, and smiled at me with what looked like patience, but felt like pity. Megan, dear, Tyler prefers his steak medium rare. You should know that by now. I looked at Tyler, waiting for him to defend me. He just shrugged. Mom's trying to help, he said. And that became the refrain. Mom's trying to help. Mom means well. Mom is right. Mom always knows best. Mom always thought she knew what was best. During holiday dinners, she rearranged the seating so that I ended up at the far end of the table, separated from Tyler by cousins and aunts. When the family Christmas card arrived, my name was misspelled. The following year, it happened again, as if I were so irrelevant that no one even checked. I mentioned it to Tyler once. The way she spoke to me, the way she positioned herself between us, he looked at me as though I'd said something absurd. You're reading too much into this, he said. Maybe I was too sensitive. Maybe I imagined slights that weren't there. Slowly, I began doubting my own perceptions, my own memories. That's what happens when someone keeps telling you your feelings aren't real. Eventually, you stop trusting yourself. It was the photo that lingered in my mind. Patricia had given Tyler a framed picture for his office, just the two of them at his college graduation. No one else. He hung it on the wall without hesitation. I found out I was pregnant on a Tuesday afternoon. The test sat on the bathroom counter, two pink lines glaring back at me, and I felt everything all at once: joy, terror, hope. I wanted to tell Tyler privately, just the two of us. I planned a quiet dinner at home, candles on the table, his favorite meal. I pictured the moment, his face when I told him, the way we'd hold each other, letting the news sink in. Our family are beginning. But I never got the chance. Tyler came home that evening already glued to his phone. Mom's coming over. She has big news. She'll be here in 20 minutes. Patricia arrived with a bottle of champagne and an announcement. She was moving closer, bought a house 10 minutes away. I want to be available, she said, smiling at Tyler, for when you need me for the baby. The room went silent. Tyler's expression shifted. Wait, what baby? Patricia's gaze flicked to me, narrowing. Then that same smile appeared, the one that never reached her eyes. Well, I suppose I'll have even more to do now. The moment I had imagined was gone, hijacked before it even began. That night, lying in bed, Tyler turned to me with genuine excitement. Mom's going to be so involved. Isn't that great? I stared at the ceiling, a cold weight settling in my chest. I wasn't carrying our child. I was carrying Patricia's next project. The nursery became the first battlefield. Weeks were spent planning, soft sage green walls, a hand-painted mural of trees, every leaf carefully detailed. I wanted it to feel like a peaceful forest, alive and dreamy, a place where a child could imagine. One afternoon, I came home to find Patricia on a ladder, roller in hand, painting over it all. Pale pink. Green is bad luck, she said without looking down. Everyone knows that. Tyler stood in the doorway. I waited for him to speak, to acknowledge that my vision, my work, had been destroyed. He shrugged. She's just excited. Weeks of effort vanished in an afternoon, and my husband didn't even flinch. Next came the baby shower. My sister Rachel organized a small, intimate gathering. Close friends, personal touches, a celebration that actually felt like me. Patricia insisted on throwing a separate event. Her people, her country club, her guest list. Tyler pressured me to attend both. Don't embarrass me in front of her friends. At Patricia's shower, I opened gifts with cards attached for baby and grandma. Can't wait to see grandma with her little one. To the best grandmother ever. Not a single mention of me. I was just the incubator, the vessel, the means to an end that had nothing to do with me. The birth plan became the final line I drew. I had been clear from the start. Tyler in the delivery room. No one else. This was my body, my birth, my moment. Patricia called it selfish. I've done this before. You haven't. Tyler pulled me aside one evening, voice low and pleading. Just let her in. She'll never forgive me otherwise. Something inside me cracked. And what about forgiving me? I asked. He didn't answer. That silence spoke volumes. His mother's feelings would always come first, even in my most vulnerable moment. Even in all of this, I held on to one thing. My college friend Danielle was a family law attorney. We'd stayed close over the years. She knew things even Rachel didn't. Late night calls where I whispered about feeling invisible, about my sense of self slowly eroding. A few weeks before my due date, she texted me, "If you ever need anything, I'm here." No judgment. I screenshotted the message. I didn't reply, but I didn't delete it either. Quietly, without telling Tyler, I began accessing my own savings. I opened my own account and started depositing my paychecks there instead of into our joint account. It wasn't a huge sum, but it was mine. I also began keeping a journal, dates, exact quotes, detailed incidents. Nothing dramatic, just careful documentation. I told myself it was for processing my thoughts, though deep down I knew it might serve as evidence if ever needed. Rachel came to visit the week before my due date. She stayed for 4 days, and in that time, she saw everything. She witnessed Tyler deferring to Patricia on the baby's name, which hospital to use, which pediatrician to hire. She watched him call his mother before making any decisions and then repeat her advice as if it were his own. One night, after Tyler had gone to bed, Rachel sat beside me on the couch. Her voice was calm, measured, but firm. "Megan, this isn't a marriage," she said. "This is a hostage situation." I wanted to argue, to defend him. Instead, the tears came. I keep hoping he'll wake up, I whispered. And if he doesn't, she asked. I didn't answer. The question lodged itself deep inside me, a splinter I couldn't shake. Before leaving, Rachel held my hands, looked me squarely in the eyes, and said, "If you need to leave, even for one night, there's always a place for you here." As my due date drew nearer, the pressure became unbearable. The walls felt like they were closing in, the air growing thin, and I knew something had to give. I just hadn't imagined it would happen in the delivery room. It started at home, a Thursday morning when my water broke. The sudden rush of reality hit me. I was going to have my daughter. Tyler's first call? To his mother. By the time we reached the hospital, Patricia was already waiting. Like she had been circling the building for weeks. She followed us into the room. "She's just worried," I said, hoping Tyler would intervene. "You overruled me, Tyler." But the contractions intensified. The monitor beeped faster, and Patricia hovered at the foot of my bed, offering unsolicited guidance like she was directing a scene. "Breathe differently. You're tensing wrong. Relax more." I looked at Tyler, pleading. "Please make her leave." He looked at his mother, then back at me and did nothing. That's when Dr. Chin stepped in. She checked my vitals, her expression tightening at the numbers, then addressed Tyler with a calm, firm authority that left no room for argument. "Sir, your wife is in active labor, and her blood pressure is dangerously high. You and your mother need to leave now." Patricia's face flushed. "I have a right." "You have no rights in my delivery room," Dr. Chin said. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't have to. "Out." Tyler hesitated. Patricia grabbed his arm, protesting as she pulled him toward the door. The door closed behind them, and for the first time in hours, I could breathe. The nurse squeezed my hand tightly. "We've got you." I delivered my daughter surrounded by strangers who put me first, not my husband, not his mother. People who understood that I was the patient, that my safety mattered, and that I had a right to feel protected in my own body. She was perfect. 7 pounds, 4 ounces, a full head of dark hair. When they placed her on my chest, everything else fell away. The pain, the betrayal, the years of feeling invisible. It was just her and me. Tyler eventually returned, careful and sheepish, apologetic on some level, worried about his mother. I held my daughter close and looked at him, really looked, and finally spoke the words I'd held in for 5 years. "I want a divorce." His face fell. "You're overreacting," he said. "No, Tyler. This isn't one moment. It's 5 years of moments. And this is the last one." I called Danielle from the hospital. Calm, professional, yet I could hear her relief beneath the surface. She had been waiting for this call. Divorce proceedings began before I even left the hospital. Tyler begged for counseling, promising things would change, promising his mother would step back, promising he'd finally choose me. But promises from someone who's broken them 100 times aren't worth anything. They're just words, arranged in a familiar pattern. Patricia called me ungrateful, hysterical, a bad mother for breaking up the family. None of it mattered. The spell was broken. Her opinions lost their power the moment I realized they were never about me. I moved into Rachel's guest room with my daughter. Small, yes, but safe. Mine. Custody gave me primary care. Tyler got weekends, but with one condition: Patricia could not be present. Danielle made sure of that. The journal I'd kept became evidence of a pattern. The savings account became my safety net. 6 months later, I signed a lease for my own place, a modest rental with a porch just big enough for a rocking chair. Nothing extravagant, but every inch of it was mine. Now, in the evenings, I sit there with my daughter asleep in my arms and listen to the quiet. The silence used to terrify me, filled with worry, second-guessing, and the endless loop of wondering if I was too sensitive, too demanding, too much. Now the silence feels different. It's earned, like the space that opens up when you stop contorting yourself to fit somewhere you never belonged. I spent 5 years trying to find my place in someone else's family, trying to earn approval that would never come, trying to shrink myself to fit next to a man who'd already given his heart away. Turns out, I didn't need to find a place. I needed to build it. If someone keeps choosing everyone but you, It's not your job to wait for them to change. It's not your job to love harder, prove yourself more, or earn what should have been freely given. It's your job to stop volunteering for last place